Yes? Got it? Good. Wonderful. So again, my name is Galit Reuben. I'm from Ojai, California, coming to you live today. And today is for you because you know that there's more to life and you feel like there's something invisible holding you back. Perhaps you wish to release the blocks, you're stuck, but you don't know just how to do it. You've tried countless of ways to resolve yourself, but you haven't found that secret sauce to get rid of it once and for all or get unstuck. So whether you're dabbling in energy work, getting started, or even experienced in energy work, this is for you. And I do recommend that you get yourself some water, that you have a little pen and paper to write with, and to get the most out of the session. Again, there's a chat box. I can't see you, but I can see what you write. You can write to everyone. Hey, Jessie from Australia. And I recommend you turn off your phones, you keep them on airplane modes, you keep them on silent. I'm going to be using visuals to help you absorb the information presented, because your subconscious mind, which is a lot of what we'll be addressing today, is already able to pick up the information so it can release the most from this presentation here. So I won't give you any information that you don't need. Everything here pertains to your experience in releasing your subconscious blocks. So if it's okay, I'll do the combination of slides and the board here and other things, because if you're like me, you might be a visual learner, and that way we can retain the information a little bit better. And again, I appreciate your time. So what we'll cover today is a little background story about me, how I got started, a little history of this work. I'll teach you the 5 steps to release your blocks and the correct way to attract what you want, the correct way to manifest. I know sometimes manifestation has kind of turned into a not so good word because it hasn't worked for many people. And then we'll do a demo experience. Will you experience the actual release of your own sabotaging blocks, your own patterns, subconscious blocks? And it's something most people can actually feel. And then I'll teach you how you can work with me for 12 months in my program if you choose. I'm not selling anything today, but I will tell you what's available, and I will give you a free gift. And in that free gift, you can opt in to get a one-on-one. If you like what you learn and you want to do more, there's an opportunity. I'm not going to stop you from seeking that out, but you will get a free gift to join my group. And for a week, just to see what it's like, because the replays work. The energy that we do here, the sessions, they actually work in replay. And my goal for you is so you can start releasing those sabotaging blocks right away. And I want to leave you feeling more uplifting, more at ease. I want to teach you the 5 steps in the correct way of how you can live your life as a creator, not a problem solver. And I'll give you the insights on some of your potential blind spots. So if there's at least one thing, one takeaway today, is to teach you how to incorporate a new way of orientating to life and to your inner self, and how to view life from a conscious creator rather than a problem solver, as we said. So let's get started. A little about me. Who am I? I'm currently a top coach for Conscious Education Company out of Australia. I work with their one-on-one clients. I'm one of 2 coaches that take one-on-one clients. The group has 2,000 members or more, and this works in groups. I have been a success and wellness seeker and implementer for over 30 years, trying to overcome my own abusive childhood. I've studied many modalities and have practiced them. And I'm also a founder of a nonprofit dog rescue. I brought it up to, it's a small, $500,000 budget. I had a small staff. This works with animals as well. And I'm proud to have been responsible for saving over 7,000 dogs. So pretty good feat. I love dogs. I love animals. and I'm certified in reconnective healing modality, magnetic mind method. I'm one of the first 100 in the world that is certified in this method. And this method works on all levels of consciousness, which is very important to understand, which we'll talk about. And again, I've studied and practiced many modalities. I've been into health and wellness, and I studied from Donna Gates at the Body Ecology Diet. I studied with Ron Teagarden of Dragon Herbs, Chinese herbs. I've just a journey of the connection of mind, body, and spirit. Now, because of this work, hey, I'm able to now live an amazing life, the process I'm going to work with you with today. As we said, we are mind, body, spirit. It's all connected. So I'm available. I'm able to live a stress-free life now, filled with joy, love. I have time freedom. I live my life on purpose. I live in a resort town of Ojai, as I said, with the love of my life, Daniel, my 3 dogs, cats, chickens. And I'm really thankful to have my health, my energy. I love hiking, traveling. I live life on my terms. But I wasn't always like that. It wasn't always this way. I went from the abuse victim, shedding it all, to living a life on purpose, which is to lead by example. That is my life's purpose. And I know not everybody knows their life purpose. I'm able to help you find your life's purpose. And through my life's purpose, I'm able to show others what's possible. Because I was going down the wrong path, leading a very stressful, unhappy life. And I never finished what I started. I was constantly broke, and my health began to fail. My adrenals were shot until I discovered this work. It's based in energy, intuition, structure, and being able to understand our patterns and our blind spots. And so this is me, the awkward teen, next to my beautiful sister. My father emigrated from Israel to India, from India to Israel, where he met my mother, where I was born. And he abused my mom, sister, and I. And not only I learned confusing messages as a child, responding depending on his mood. I was sometimes smart, beautiful, and loved. And others, I was worthless, will never amount to anything. Not to mention that I compared myself to my beautiful sister, who was smarter, who was a better student. All the boys looked at her. And I had a passive mother who, because she was abused herself, she couldn't protect me. She couldn't protect us, my sister and I. And so we could never really have our guard down. We were never free to express our emotions, not knowing, what would set up the next uncontrollable rage of my father. So it could be something as little as laughing at something too much, or, a minor complaint that, we were ungrateful and unthankful. So we felt like, and Sean says, same here. And I know some of you can relate to this, which is why I'm sharing this with you. We're similar in many ways. Even if you weren't abused, we all have these things that we have to overcome, feel like we have to overcome from our childhood. But for me, I felt like an outsider in this Minneapolis suburbs where we moved to in the States as immigrants. And because my dad never got to complete his education when he left India as a young teen, everyone with degrees in science, engineering, computers were seen like as heroes in his life. But he left his military career in Israel to follow his dream of living in the US. So he moved all of us. I was a young teen, and he bought a donut shop, but he never really saw major success. But when I left home, I set out to overcome my childhood wounds, and I felt alone and isolated. I didn't know others like me. People didn't understand what kind of childhood I experienced, and it was kind of a secret we didn't talk about. So I tried different modalities over the years. Not all of them are listed here, but most, starting with traditional psychology, and it was the beginning of a long journey. So I'd love some feedback from you guys, because I know I'm not the only one that was searching for that thing that will finally have me stopping to search of how to overcome and fix myself once and for all. I'm assuming that I'm not the only one who spent their life trying to overcome themselves, right? There's no shortage of people seeking help. And there's no shortage of therapies and modalities out there trying to resolve our blocks or our childhood and our past or whatever it is that we don't even know what it is, right? And thanks for typing in. Hi, Linda, and I appreciate it. So I bet that you or someone that is probably out there doing something to resolve their past, right? So we tend to forget that it's not all bad, despite my father's personality traits and uncontrollable rage. I learned about the law of attraction and quantum physics from him. We often have this selective memory of how things really were. It could be the other way around, where you remember only the good parts or only the bad parts. We're all different, but it's a sort of protective amnesia. Despite my father's inability to properly express love or control his triggers, he often consulted with psychics. He went to healers. He went to Ayurvedic doctors. And in many ways, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. And some of it's beneficial. So luckily, I didn't pick up those physically abusive traits, but I am grateful for what I've learned about the metaphysical world through my dad. And although, despite all the psychics, healings, law of attraction books, and Ayurvedic doctors, my dad died alone of renal failure. My mom finally left him. And, once my sister and I were old enough to leave the house, and he had full dementia, he had type 2 diabetes, he received dialysis 3 times a week to stay alive. And at age 74, he couldn't, he died unhappy, despite his constant search for spirituality. He never quite reached it. And he was always in search and never to arrive. How many people do you know, like my dad, who went to their grave never to find what they were searching for? And, are they still living in this incompleteness? Is it you? Are you living in this incompleteness, feeling like you're running out of time? People who practice manifestation, healings, or meditate, they are often far from their true potential and their purpose. And speaking of purpose, what does one who's so confused growing up, when your own identity is confused? Like, I was the worthy manifester, but I was also the person who never amounted to anything. Who was I? I had conflicting identities of who I really was. Which part that my dad told me I was I? So I became this dabbler. I never knew who I was, what I was good at. So I tried hotel industry, hospitality, advertising, Hollywood industry. I even started a baby clothing company. I worked really hard. I got promoted, but I didn't feel like I was good at anything. So I did all these things and I climbed up the ladder, but each time success came, I found myself wanting to move on and start something else. Everything I tried, it felt like moving on as soon as I saw success. Why was I denying myself success? Without realizing it, I was reenacting my childhood where I wasn't worthy of success. So perhaps you felt like no matter what, you feel like you still aren't enough to be worthy of really having what you want, whether it's the money, the business, the career, right? Or anything else, loving relationship, the perfect body. I wasn't able to put my finger on it, but I noticed that it was silent. It was like happening without me noticing, but I felt like I was always an imposter. And and I see some of your comments. You said you haven't found your higher power. I know that there is one, and I'm so glad you're here. And let me help you with that. Let me show you. But, finally, my next project came along where I finally saw success is when I started the nonprofit dog rescue. I've always loved dogs. My dad hated them, and I could never have a pet growing up. So I learned everything there was to know about starting a nonprofit, and it took off like a rocket. And I wasn't just, I wanted to help a few dogs. That's what I set out to do. But what I didn't realize is that I ended up creating a community, and it took off. It had a life of its own. There's me. And, not to mention all these live animals, right? And, it helped me kind of feel that I was worthy of something. But what was my pattern? As soon as I see success, I quit, right? I move on. So I tried to quit, but I mean, I'm the head of this organization. Who do I give my notice to? I was like so deep in the thick of it. And I tried for 9 years. And, after 7,000 dogs, I didn't know how. I didn't know how to stop this runaway train, so to speak. And, on the outside, I looked like I had the dream life. On the inside, I was incomplete. I mean, I was written about, even look, Live Happy magazine wrote about me. But inside, I was stressed. I was overworked. I was fearing judgment. I was anxious, and my adrenals were failing. I wasn't able to escape my own creation this time. And all I really wanted was to be happy, to be fulfilled. I didn't want to feel like I had the weight of the world on my shoulders. I wanted to have more time. I didn't want to worry about money. And I wasn't asking for the moon, right? But in a way, I was following my father's footsteps in terms of leading an overworked, high-stress life, worry about money. I ended up divorced. I became a single mom. And looks could be deceiving, can't they? And why am I telling you all this? I know I'm not the only one who feels like this, that there's a disconnect between our inside and outside appearances to the rest of the world, right? To your friends, your families, the coworkers, keeping up with the Joneses, right? Has anybody feel this way? Or is it just me? But then I realized something. Seeing all my patterns of never really being able to hang on to success, I realized it was me. Maybe it was me. And thanks for agreeing in the chat box. I really appreciate you participating in what you're learning and getting these aha moments like I did. I was the only one sabotaging myself. I was doing it. Something deep inside me that kept reliving the stories that I wasn't worthy because only people with degrees, or like engineers or whatever my father put on a pedestal were worthy, and that I was not. This was happening on an unconscious level and created something that kept me from having what I wanted. And it kept showing up as excuses in disguise. I don't have time. Others need me more. My circumstances don't allow it. I don't have enough money. I don't have this. I don't have enough resources, right? And Tiffany says, complete opposite lives inside and outside. So true. Thanks for that share. And I realized that I was a victim of my own circumstances. Hey, but then something happened. I was at the right place at the right time. And that never happens to me. But I was invited to an experience, kind of like you're experiencing here. I discovered Christopher Duncan's work, and I started working with magnetic mind, which is a combination of neurolinguistic programming, NLP, Robert Fritz about structure, William Whitecloud's work about creating magic. I can't speak today. Creating magic and superconscious, and amazing energy work of Colette Stryker of the MAP method that she learned from Dr. Gary Flint. Now, Dr. Gary Flint was a psychologist who created a technique to work with patients with multiple personalities through using the morphogenic energy field, the field of energy around all living things, using intuition, using muscle testing in order to read this field of what was needed to be released and balanced. And he taught it to Colette, who taught it to Chris. And this was built upon further from there. And this is amazing work. And through this, I realized this is where the basic premise comes into play of the law of attraction, that what you focus creates your reality. I created my sabotage with my focus unknowingly, not consciously, by spending my life trying to resolve, overcome, fix my problems. And guess what I got more of? You guessed it. I created my own experience. But what I learned is that I can also create a new one. Our brain has plasticity, right? And so can you. Good news. Everything changed there. What I realized is that I've been doing it all wrong. Pretty much the entire personal development world has gotten it wrong because they focus on what's wrong with you. And I don't think it's intentional. It's just a problem-based structure. The first rule of law of attraction is that if you believe that we're energy and vibrational beings, we attract with our focus, right? So that's really important, key, right? Why do so many people who practice the law of attraction still don't have what they want? Because we're so conditioned to live in a problem-based structure. Another thing they get wrong is that they're incomplete. They may get you into a certain point, right? But the work doesn't stick. We might get it and then we lose it because we're missing some major elements. I see coaches and therapists. I see all kinds of work on your mindset, working with your brain, working with your focus, working with your emotions. I see healers working on your energy body, but they don't work on all aspects of you. Is it discipline? No. And thanks for that question. And I'll clarify for you. It's your focus. Your discipline is kind of a side effect with your structure and taking the action steps. But the discipline is something that we get stopped because we have subconscious beliefs that are stopping us, which we'll go over. Thanks for that question. And so there's a synergistic way to do it, to become whole, manifest from a whole you. It's a recipe that speaks to contain all the right elements, which is what I'm about to share with you, which is the 5 steps of creation. We're not just mind, we're not just body or spirit. They're not separate, and we hear this thrown around everywhere, but what does it really mean? Why do we treat them separately and think we'll get results? Perhaps we might treat a combination of the two. And we know it's connected, but I really want to show you today why this is so important. So I hope you're with me. Everyone here, type in a little love in the chat because it's about to get juicier. I want to ask you a question. How many times have you signed up for some personal development program, learned a book, a method, went to some kind of mindset work, came out all pumped up, bought your new mindset, ready to take your life to the next level? Thanks for your love here. You're excited, and then it just got fizzled up, right? You just fizzled up, and somehow it was hard to keep. You can't even repeat what you've learned, right? You don't even remember. You can't even say, give anyone an elevator pitch of what you retained from what you learned. And the truth is, there's nothing wrong with you. It's not your fault. It's just because we're programmed to stay the same. So through this work, finding success, I released instead of fixing. My focus completely changed. I learned to take back my power instead of being a victim of my circumstances and my past. Instead of waking up riddled with stress every morning, I had inner peace. I saw improvement in every area of my life. Instead of, being broke, I doubled my income within two months. Yeah, I tripled it within 3 months. My mood, my energy, my sleep, my confidence, relationships, everything changed. I laughed more. I stopped reacting to life and started creating it. And I realized how much time I was focusing on overcoming my problems instead of just having what I love. So I decided to help others. I became certified. I was invited by Chris to be on his team and coach his private clients. And I'm so honored. I created my own transformational program. And I also work with animals. I became certified. And so this is what I'm going to teach you today. In this photo, which was taken over 2 years ago now, I am already a different person. I look and feel younger. And I'm not the only one. I have Ubers and Ubers of success stories from clients who were living a life they love, someone who was just, a clerk in someone's shop who never even dreamed that she could have her own business. Now she's less than a year, opened her own shop, expanded to upstairs, expanding her staff, just unbelievable. She's also bodybuilding. She's just unstoppable. I received this text from Angela, who trains Kentucky Derby race horses, champion horses. She wanted to be able to work with her dogs as well and not, leave them behind. So she figured out how to work the perfect life. This is from a longtime client who couldn't sleep. We worked a little bit on sleep and boom, we just released whatever blocks were in the way. And she just sent her, it's better now, but she sent me a screenshot the next morning. And, I think Rebecca, you're here. I received this lovely text from Rebecca of just a few short weeks in this work of her life changing. So, and it goes on. And, I work with people from all walks of life, from shamans, from psychic, from real estate agents, crypto traders, bartenders, high achieving executives. I work with Fortune 500 executives. This works for everyone. And of course, pets. I work with cats, dogs, horses, and I do them on one-on-ones for now at a discount, but I'll be creating a group soon. I'm trained in animal communication. I've worked with clients on releasing grief of pets, of lost pets as well, grief in general. It helps a lot to releasing that, including my own grief that I didn't realize I was holding on for 15 years of grief of my lost dog, Chet Barker. I had no idea until I released that grief. Yeah, Heather. And yeah, some of you are saying, yeah, I can relate to the sleep. So the big problem is you've noticed everywhere, people are sick, they're stressed, they're unhappy, and they're reacting to life. They're stuck, they're lost, right? And we can blame social media, cancel culture, right? Isn't it true that everywhere we turn, there's another problem? It's the education system. It's the parents, it's the politicians, it's religion, billionaires, pandemics. It's my upbringing, it's my parents, my genetics, the pharmaceutical industry. Everywhere you look, there's an enemy to blame, right? So we can blame ourselves, but we shouldn't have guilt about it. It's not personal, it's structural, because we've been in the wrong structure. So here's where I show you. Let me stop sharing and I'm going to go to the board. How's everyone doing? Thanks for hanging in with me. I want to go as fast as possible so we can get to the process. And I just want to show you here that here's an example. This stands for current reality. We can call it point A, and this is desired reality, point B. Let's say we all want something. And we desire. What do you desire, right? We desire better health, better body. We desire more money. We desire relationship, a loving relationship, a dream house, a career, whatever you want to put here. This applies to everything that you might want in life. Okay, so let's just put health, money, career, fulfillment, okay, relationship, love, okay, right? We all want these basic things in life, and we're here, and we think that when we have this, life will be so much better. Don't we think that? Whole society is built on this. Marketing is built on this. You need this If you had this, we think that the future will be better than the now. So we strive to get it. From the current reality, what sort of some of things that you want? And Des, I'll get to that. What sort of things would you want? Any of these? Can you guys relate? So let's say we want health. We might go on a detox. We might go on a diet. We might join a gym. We want a career. We might get another job. We might start a business. We might go back to school, right? So there's one of three things that are going to happen. We start making our way over here, right? One way is that we get stuck. We make it to a certain point and we get stuck and we kind of give up. We end up back here. Or we're just kind of halfway there and we just can never have everything that we want. Or we get to it and we lose it all. We just, we take the 2 steps forward, 2 steps back. I don't know if you guys have been there. We make it and we lose it. And sometimes we make it for weeks, for months, even years. Okay. But then something happens. We might get pulled back. We might run out of resources. We might get busy. We might get sick. We might lose interest. Right? There's like an invisible focus down here that pulls us back. Who's been there? We think that we'll be complete. If we popped out over here, we'll be complete. But guess what happens? If we have this, are we really happy? Is it really better? Maybe just for a little while, but suddenly we need another fix. Linda, you've been there? So we can lose it all. And no matter what we go for, either we're stuck, we lose it, or we can flow to it, but maybe we don't keep it. So this is a structure, and this is a structure that most people are in. So how many times have you found yourself in this structure? And structure is something that has 2 or more parts working together. We talk a lot about structure in my work, in Magnetic Mind Method, and I am super conscious. And I hope this is landing with everyone. You guys with me? So let's keep moving. This structure is the world, where the world is. It's a problem-based structure. We focus on now is a problem, now is not good enough, and over here is going to be better. We focus on what? That now is not good enough. That now we have a problem that we need to resolve so we can have this. Our government, our schools, our doctors, everyone is focused on this structure. That something needs to be fixed and overcome. And we put it on our resume. I'm a problem solver. Isn't that the first rule of law of attraction? Your focus creates your reality. What's wrong with this picture? Can anyone figure it out? What's wrong with this picture? If our focus creates our reality, what's going on? We're focusing on the problem that we need to get away from. Thanks, Tiffany. Focusing on problem. This structure doesn't work. In order to truly have what you want and have this, you have to know and feel equal of how you would feel, you believe you would feel over here. Like if you think that you'd have health and money and love and business and a life on your terms, of how you would love to have it, wouldn't you just feel wonderful? How would you feel here? How do you think you'd feel if you have whatever it is you wanted? Can you imagine? How would it feel? How does it feel now? Is it the same? Do you feel the same here as you think you'd feel over here? And if you're anything like me when I started, I'm not seeing your comments, but I'll assume the answer is no for most. Is that true? Give me some love in the chat. Thanks, Frida. Right? Is that true? So if we think that we'll feel better here, and now is not good enough, we're just going to get more of this, no matter how many times. So this feeling, we have to feel good enough now. We have to feel this in the now. And you're saying, hey, that's probably hard to do. How can I feel like this? So I'm going to share my screen again as soon as I find my, where I find you guys. There we go. Let me share again. How's everyone doing so far? Okay. So this is what I want to show you, that we have 3 levels of consciousness. We have our higher self, our, which we call superconscious, our subconscious, and our conscious. Okay. And that's what we're going to talk to with what I mean. We have to work through all aspects. Hey, Janae, my new bookkeeper's here. Can't wait to get started. So this is where we're disconnected. We don't work on all levels of consciousness. Now, let's start with the human journey. This is a controversial topic a little bit of where the spirit enters the body. There's this great, amazing book. It's Journey of Souls by this hypnotherapist that took a bunch of people through, through their birth and before entering the womb even. And he's got amazing things to say. However, when you're in the womb, all your needs are met, right? All your needs are met. You don't need to do anything. You're a pure creative spirit in a human body. This is when your subconscious mind is formed. And it's formed from 0 to about 7 years old. You're not hungry, you're not cold, you're always cradled, you're always safe. This is what you start learning here. And the subconscious mind starts forming, and it's always with us in this lifetime. It runs all the body of all the functions of the body. It's like the submerged iceberg. We can't see it. It's a supercomputer. There's no supercomputer on this earth that can hold as much information as our subconscious mind. And, you know, when it runs the body functions, you don't have to relearn how to walk every morning when you get up, right? The subconscious mind has already learned it once. Same with driving. You don't relearn driving. You know that most of the time you're driving, your subconscious mind is doing it. Your conscious mind is just looking for dangers. It's the reptilian brain that we're born with for the survival of our species. And it's just designed to keep you safe and to run the functions of your body. It's the main functions of the subconscious. Now, your conscious mind is your identity, your I am. It forms around the age of 7 when you become self-aware. From the time you're born to around age 7, it's like you're an absorbing sponge. But then you realize that you're an identity. You're aware. You are present. It's like your desktop memory. Not this kind of memory. It's like the tip of the iceberg memory, a lot less, right? And, you know, it's the you, it judges. It sees things as black and white, right or wrong, safe or unsafe. It's just kind of, but it seeks pleasure and avoids pain. It's going for more quality of life, and it makes decisions. Or does it? As we'll learn, it may not make as many decisions like we think, because the truth is the subconscious makes decisions about 7 seconds before your conscious mind is aware of it and makes decisions. And therefore, we have your superconscious mind, which is the higher self. your energy, your spirit. It's always present. You can call it higher self. You can call it superconscious. You can call it your Akash. You can call it your source. You can call it whatever it is. It's here for expansion. It's always been with you throughout all your lifetimes. It is more you than any you there is. There's no judgment. There's no right or wrong. It connects with you with your heart. It speaks to you. Everyone is intuitive. Every one of us. We've just shut it down and forgot. You are completely whole already. You are this already. I recently heard this great quote. It was so well said. And I'll repeat it. It said that we are not humans embarking on a spiritual journey. We are spirits having a human experience. Okay? We are spirits here having a human journey, not humans looking for spirituality. You are already this. Let's not forget that. Yeah, I love it too. Thanks, Des. So when you're born, remember you were this. Everything was perfect. Now what? You're born. All of a sudden, it's quite a shock to the system. There's so much going on. Your subconscious mind is now absorbing how to survive. You quickly learn that not all your needs are automatically met. In order to survive, you must be fed. So you start crying, gets you fed. It gets you changed. It keeps you warm. It makes you feel nurtured. You learn what you need to do to survive. Okay, this is starting to imprint your subconscious in a whole new way. As you grow older, we start, this is the subconscious is absorbing how to survive. More things are imprinted in the subconscious. The need to belong to your family. This is our species. Our species are social creatures. We survive in communities, in our family, in our tribe. It's deeply ingrained for our survival, and we will do anything not to be rejected by those people that are responsible for our lives, because we're not like horses where we get up and start running, right? We can't survive without being nurtured and loved. We just can't, right? So we must be worthy enough. We must make ourselves be worthy to be taken care of. And as we grow a little older, where we still can't survive on our own, we make up these ingrained beliefs of how we have to be in our own home. Like, I have to be a good boy or girl. Like suddenly our crying doesn't seem to work. We throw our temper tantrum and we get left alone, in the grocery aisle. We don't, right? So we start learning how to really survive, and perhaps, crying suddenly doesn't get as far as it used to. So now we have to learn how to be good, how to be, get approval, how to belong more, right? How was it in your home? Everybody's different. Like maybe I needed to be a good boy or girl. Maybe I needed to be quiet to get dad's approval. Maybe I needed to be strong. Maybe I needed to be, active or disappear, make myself disappear, not seen, right? So what was yours? Like, if I'm good at sports, I'll be worthy of dad's respect. If I get good grades, we all make up these beliefs. Think back of your childhood. We learn how to get along with others as we grow old, like a little older, because we're communal species living in societies, right? What did you learn in your childhood? Wounding through your individuation is what we call it. Wounding. The child gets wounded in a way. It's not a bad word. We all need to go through this to know how to relate to the world, how to belong, how to survive. Now we make up these beliefs to resolve our pain. And this gets ingrained in the subconscious. Now, remember, the subconscious needs to keep you safe for survival. The subconscious's main job is to keep you alive. And the only way it knows how to keep you alive is from what it's learned from age 0 to 7. This is ingrained. Anything that you have experienced in this age, whether it's positive or negative, is considered safe. And Des is asking, what if there was a negative, neglected upbringing? You learned coping mechanism and you repeat the patterns. And we're going to continue with this learning. And I hope you'll have some aha moments here today. And so you could have survived all sorts of hardships in your family. Neglect, right? You could have survived parents arguing, money troubles, jealousy. You absorbed and took in that information unconsciously. You didn't know what it was, but chances are, we're pre-verbal when we're young. We see our parents struggling. We don't know what it is, but we take in that energy too. But, chances are you could tell the difference in the energy when there was tension and fear and anger in the room versus love, right? You don't have to have memories from age 0 to 7, Sean, and I appreciate you making that claim. Your subconscious does. You don't have to consciously remember, right? The subconscious absorbs everything you ever experienced. You may not remember them. Most of us don't, but your subconscious remembers. And whatever you experience then, if it's considered safe, if you've experienced it before, it's safe because you didn't die from it. Does that make sense? You didn't die from it. I survived this, therefore, this is the subconscious saying, I survived this, therefore it's safe. If it's familiar, it's safe. And even if we survive abuse or neglect, right? Whether it's physical or verbal, we have this learned helplessness that's formed because the child can't escape. There's nowhere to go. And so there's a saying that goes, in a family of thieves, the honest child feels guilty because it needs to belong to the tribe or stay in abuse. Yeah, right. I appreciate your comments. You're right. Abnormal becomes normal. You guys are getting it. Do you see this? Same, familiar equals safe on a subconscious level. I survived this, therefore it's safe. I survived working hard in my household. My family works hard, therefore it's safe. My family is in scarcity, therefore it's safe. You survived a life of stress and illness, it's safe. We want to repeat those patterns because it's all we know. Okay? The child gets wounded, but they can't escape. Emotion of shame, which is very common. Parents shame children of all kinds of reasons. There's good intentions, but it creates toxicity, toxic shame. It creates fear of losing your very belonging, your very survival, but you don't die from it. Chronic pain may hurt, but you don't die from it. So for a 2-year-old, being shamed feels like you're losing your belonging from your family. Shame, guilt, the child survives. In order to survive, that child now forms, ways to find places in life from here on out to feel shame and not die from it. How crazy is this? We look for ways to repeat these patterns. It becomes the agenda. The brain looks for circumstances to know how it survived. I survived no money, but we didn't die from it. Everything else is unfamiliar. It's not safe. It doesn't know the different states that are survivable. Let's just continue finding more of the same because we don't die. And we make up how life should be and looks to create more of those experiences. Same, familiar equals safe. Belonging is essential to the child's survival. In a family of thieves, the honest child feels guilty. We cannot escape. Okay, so we look and develop coping mechanism, right, Des? We cannot escape. They get locked in. Okay, why do lottery winners and famous musicians and football players that, make all this money And then most of them just go broke within 5 years. They have money problems they can't handle their fame. They can't handle their money, right? Because their subconscious finds it unsafe. Imagine how unfamiliar that is. So here's what we end up doing. We develop 6 core wounds that we're not conscious of, but these are the patterns that we develop as children in order to belong. In order to have what I want in life, I must deserve it, right? And the only way to deserve it, I must help others. I might put everyone else first. Everyone comes before me. And then I wonder why I'm not well, why my needs are never met, why I resent others, right? And why when I do something for everyone else, no one comes to my aid, right? Money doesn't need you to deserve it. It's just a measurement made up by humans. But aren't there rich people in the world who think, that we think people don't deserve it? Can anyone think of people that have money and we don't think they deserve it? They don't have good karma. But, it's just in our own heads. So if you're trying to be worthy, it means that we go for what we want, but we have an identity that doesn't think we're worthy. And so the subconscious will block us. And then if we think we're not good enough, we all have one of these 6. I know I had more. We have one or more. And you can probably identify something when you grew up, like if you want more something and then you just feel like an imposter that you're not worthy of it. If you're not good enough, you keep going back to school or getting another certification and another certification and another plaque on your wall, and you never feel good enough, another PhD, right? Or you don't feel significant. So you're always kind of in the background. You can't speak out, or maybe you have to be really flashy. So you try and get noticed. It can go either way. Or you're not capable enough. So you always need permission from others. You always need others to help you. You can't do anything by yourself. You can't start anything, right? Or you're not perfect enough. You start and you never quite, you keep re-recording, rewriting that book, and never publish it. You'll never, actually, you say, I want to make that video, but it's never perfect enough to publish. I want to start this, but it's never going to be perfect enough. You rework and you rework. And then lastly, I don't belong enough is, something that's very common, where we fear judgment so much. We must know how we are in relation to others, what they think of us, and whether we're liked, and what is this person mad at me? How's this person gonna feel if I do this, if I do that, right? And we avoid conflict. And there's, all of us have this embedded in the subconscious, and we try and go through life like this. And I'm going to stop share real quick. So remember those 6 sabotaging identities of I am not enough. I am not enough. You go for one of these, you take the action, but your subconscious woundings, as we say, don't believe that this is safe, because this is unfamiliar territory. It wants to stay the same in the I'm not enough. So when you go for it, the subconscious says, that's not safe. You can't have this, because we don't know if it's survivable. It thinks that if you have this, it could mean the death of your primitive reptilian brain will think that. And so this is saying you're not enough. You have to stay the same in your endless cycle. And you see the structure, it doesn't work. You'll never have this, or maybe you will. Always come back, because those subconscious beliefs of I'm not enough are ingrained, and until you release them, they'll keep pulling you back. So it's a system that doesn't work, right? And we spend our lives trying to resolve this system till we go to our grave, don't we? Who's been there? Just keeps going for something and losing it. It's like this rubber band here, where your current reality, your desired reality, you make your way, and this is a tension structure that's a creative, focused on what you want, not what you don't want. But as you go for it, like in the law of attraction, focus on what you want, go for it. What you're not seeing is this down here, this silent instruction. So you go for it, and it's just pulls you back. Not safe, not safe. Come back here, stay in the familiar territory, right? Who's been there? I know I have for many years. So we spend our entire lives, because our subconscious is encoded from 0 to 7, guess what? We operate from a mindset of a 7-year-old trying to resolve our pain, right? It's a structure that cannot resolve itself. Subconscious views it as not self. You code up a belief that you must resolve yourself. And because your identity will think that it's unfamiliar, it'll never resolve. And I love repeating this because this is a big realization. Really? Oh, that's okay, Priya. Thank you so much. And so we're like this horse. How do we feel like this horse? The horse represents this great metaphor of our childish perspective. He was tied when he was small and weak, and he's programmed not to know his own power. Who can relate? Guess what? You guys are powerful. And our woundings aren't just ours. They're from our family, ingrained down from our DNA. They're from past lives. And this is proven, actually, that it goes 7 generations deep to our family. And, I don't know if you guys saw that Netflix show, Surviving Death, of people reliving their past lives as children, like knowing all these names of people that they knew that are dead in a past lives, whatever. It's a great story. Now, this came up recently, which, what about trauma, even while you were in the womb? If your parents, remember to any stories you learned when you were in the womb, guess what? That's encoded in you right now. So let me just take you on this quick recap. You're born, your subconscious mind is formed, and you're reliving these patterns. You forgot that you're a pure creative spirit in a human body, right? And you just live in this structure of trying to stay the same. And the belief, your focus creates reality. So therefore, you just keep focusing, getting more of the same, focusing to resolve your beliefs and getting more of those beliefs. Does that make sense? That's the law of attraction. Your focus creates reality. You believe that you're not enough. You're focused on something's wrong that you need to resolve about yourself. Boom, you get it back. And then you're like, see, I told you I didn't believe that I could. And here it is. So it just reinforces that you're not enough. Learned helplessness. Yes, thank you. So, there's another term that I think is super interesting, which isn't addressed enough, psychoneuroimmunology. It's a study of how our emotions affect our immune system. And there's plenty of studies in the medical world that link this emotional health and illness. Most doctors don't make this connection or don't even ask patients about their emotional state and their past and their childhood. It's called P&I for short. And unhealthy emotional states, just suppressed emotions, lead to cancers, linked to all sorts of diseases, depression. Here's psoriasis, which actually I know from my study of health also is related to candida and overgrowth in the gut, which, is the gut-brain connection. So many more emotions play a huge role in autoimmune disorders, including lupus, rheumatoid arthritis, colon cancers, lung cancers, ovarian cancers. The research is there, but in my opinion, medical industry doesn't want you to know. They don't want you to connect those dots. It's hardly emphasized as it should to keep everyone sick enough to need the meds. My opinion only. So most autoimmune disorders may start with our inability to cope and address our emotions because, look, when, what do our parents do when we cry, when we get old enough, or we get angry? We get in trouble for being angry. We get in trouble even for being scared or being called silly, so we end up suppressing. And then what happens is we don't know how to use our emotions appropriately. Emotions are good. We are allowed to have rage in the right environment. Does the mama bear need to have rage when her cubs are endangered? Yes, it is an important emotion. We need to know how to use it. Anger is not a bad thing. We need to know how to use it. If we allow to be angry in the right manner, we can just, just say, hey, I'm angry about this, and this is why, and okay, let's move on. Now that is a healthy way to address anger, not suppress it where it's starting to wreak havoc in our immune system, which is in fight or flight mode. So what do? We can stay in this endless oscillating structure, or we can release it as a spirit in a human body. Here for human experience, right? And you forgot who you are. And we've been living in this reactive mode, reacting to life. I got to solve this problem. I got to solve this problem. This said this to me. Oh, I have to belong. I have to be good enough. I have to stay safe. We recode, we recode the brain literally, and resolve energetically and dissolve what's no longer serving you in a simple process that energetically does just what is needed. It restores and reminds you that you are a conscious creator, not a reactive one. You are a master manifester. Yesterday, I worked with a lady who told me she didn't believe in reincarnation. And since she's interested in quantum physics and the science of vibration, it also works for those who don't believe that we're spirit, but yet understand that we are vibrational beings. This is what we do. We recode and release old habits, and we reorient it with that energy field, that source of who we are. And from here, we have a completely different perspective on life. We elevate. We know how to manifest. We're not resolving. We just are equal. We know that we can have this good feeling in the now. We don't have to resolve ourselves first. This is so important. You are perfect enough now, because these are just a perspective. These are just old beliefs. They no longer serve you. They served your reptilian brain, but they don't really serve you in just wanting to have a beautiful human experience here for joy, right? You don't have to suffer through that reptilian brain anymore, trying to resolve. You can just be this. And we're programmed not to. So let's release that old programming and just have it. Have it now. We don't have to resolve anything to have a life we love. So that's the solution, a transformative program to release those woundings and suppressed emotions from childhood, past lives, ancestors that no longer serve you. Trauma, triggers, repressed emotions, and keeping you aligned with whatever it is you want. You're just here to have a human experience, no right or wrong. All right. And so it does this in the fastest way possible that I've ever seen, with the least amount of work. You don't have to fix yourself. You don't have to keep in those emotions to keep you safe. You know, you're living with old fears that serve you as a child, but you know, you were told that you couldn't do this, you couldn't do that as a child. You accepted that you weren't allowed, right? But you know, you're still living from that perspective of, I'm not allowed. For some reason, I'm not allowed. Who told you you're not allowed? Well, my parents. Well, weren't they like in their 20s? Do you still take advice from people in their 20s telling you what you're allowed and what you're not allowed to do, right? And they were broke. You're still taking advice. So it's no longer serving you. So let's do a process. I'm going to teach you the 5 steps. So the first thing, we're going to get started. So this is the steps to creation. I called it the carrot system. The first thing we do is we must choose what we want. So we're going to get started. I want everyone to choose something that they would love to create. And number one is you must be in a choice of something that you would just love to have for you and no one else. I know that's hard for many of you to not want something for someone else because we're not programmed to just want what we want. We've been told, oh, you can't have what you want, right? We're not allowed. Who do you think you are? But the truth is, you're a pure creative spirit in a human body here for a human experience. So yes, you can. I'm giving you permission right now. Yes, you can. I'm giving you permission right now. So, just make sure that I'm getting the messages. Wonderful. Right. So we're going to get started right now. And choose something, if you would, what you would just love to have in this desired reality here and just, we're taught that it's selfish. It's so not true. What do you just want simply because you'd love to have it? What would you love to have? Would you love to have a life you love? Would you love to live your true nature and purpose? Find your truth, find your, a new career that's fulfilling. Would you love to have love in your life? Would you love to have a new career, a new business, something specific? Go ahead, please type in. And if you type in, I can help you stay in true choice because we can actually choose in the wrong way. There's no right or wrong, remember, but we can choose in a way that won't get us what we're going for. So if you can't, happiness, find my calling. So let's just choose to live my true nature and purpose. Okay? I choose to live my true nature and purpose. A rockin' body. How about a body I love? Sean, love that. I choose a body I love. Okay. I choose to live my true nature and purpose, Rebecca. That is awesome. Keep going. I can choose a life I love. I could choose to take back my power to be the predominant creative force in my life. Last time I did this, we chose to be the predominant creative force. I want to forgive. I want to choose forgiveness. Now, I really appreciate this comment because I'm sure you're not the only one in this, but do you see, this is a process and it's not a true choice. Let's go to the next level. What would forgiveness give you? What would that do for you? Let's make that a true choice. So you're not, because when you're saying I choose forgiveness, you're saying now is not good enough and I must get away from the now. We send silent instructions, and this is what we do in our group. We teach you the correct way so you don't indirectly choose what you don't want. That's the truth. So we're going to choose a life I love. We're going to choose true nature and purpose. We're going, what I'd love for you, Darina, is just to say I choose to take back my power, to live my true nature, to be the predominant creative force in your life. Can I choose peace and harmony? What's in a life you love? A life I love has peace and harmony, just doing what you love. How about I choose a life I love? Because you have a right to a life you love. It's your birthright. I choose a life I love. And the forgiveness, only impacts you, not the people that, it serves you. Forgiveness serves you more than anyone. So let's make sure that we just choose one of these. I choose a life I love. I choose to be the predominant creative force in my life, be in my power. I choose to live my true nature and purpose. I choose a healthy and vital body I love. Joyful perspective. Heather, thank you. Choose a life you love. I choose joy. A life I love has joy in it. And this is a great choice until we learn exactly how to choose a life I love. Is so good. So good. Choose a life I love is one of my favorite true choices because it's like we have a sack of everything we just love in life. And we just, so the first thing we're going to do, we're going to step number 2, which is, so first we chose, right? We don't choose indirectly. We don't choose for someone else. We don't choose in limitation. We think we're limited, but we're not. We don't choose because somebody else, because we don't think we can have anything else. We don't choose what everybody else wants. We don't tell the universe to choose for us. Okay. So notice I teach you all this in my group. I choose a life I love. I love that. So next we align. Let's align with the emotion of your end result. The emotions are most important. Do you know your body doesn't know the difference? If you're emotionalizing, if it's really happening, or just imagining, your cells don't know the difference. You literally, if you feel what it would be like in your end result of a life you love or whatever it is you're choosing, and you get into the emotion, your body doesn't know if it's really happening or not. And so what does it do? It starts, your cells start responding like it's happening, like you have a life you love. You have a question. Do I feel a feeling that, how do I feel a feeling that you never felt? That's a good question. There is likely a feeling that you felt like it in childhood that you can relate and do the best that you can of what you imagine, or if you can put yourself in someone else's shoes that you think have it and go, I bet you this is what it feels like. It's a great question. Thanks for asking that. I'm sure other people are wondering, how do you feel a feeling that you've never felt? So my answer to that is, can you think of someone that you know has this feeling? Whether it's a character in a movie or someone you know, or maybe it's a memory, a feeling that you just felt as a child in innocence. Can you go to one of these and imagine what would it feel like? And it's okay that you don't know right away. You may not feel it fully yet, and that's okay too. There's no wrong or right, except for, not being a true choice. And yeah. So does that help? Great. Now I want you to just go and imagine what it would feel like, and just feel it like it's already true, not that you're on your way there. Like it's already done. Everyone can close their eyes and really playful. The more you playful out, the more you'll get out of this. Play full out. Use as many senses as you can. Open your heart and just feel it. Choose it, and then we'll do the process soon. After we feel this, we'll go into the process. This is a part of the process. We're going to release what's in the way, but first we have to get into this process of understanding what we're choosing, so we can teach our subconscious what it needs to release. Does that make sense? This is why we're doing this. This is why we take the 5 steps. Very important to play along. So go ahead, feel what it would feel like once you have it, and type it in. What would it be like? You're welcome, Des. Thank you. What would it feel like? You feel freedom, peace, love it. Go ahead, keep typing in. Freeing and joyful. Go ahead, just, yeah, do you see? It's simple, right? Giggly like a child, love it. You see, you found something strong, sexy, healthy. See, you feel it because the pure creative spirit can just choose. You don't have to overcome anything. You could just choose to feel it now. You're allowed. However, our body that we're in, that we chose to be in, believes otherwise, because the subconscious is running the show. It runs the functions of your body, right? So we never skip the step of aligning, of staying in your end result. And that's how we're being it. Do you see how we're being it right now when we're choosing the end result? We're being it. We're teaching our body, and we have meditations in the program that, they're under 20 minutes. I'm not a meditator. And so under 20 minutes and I'm done. And it teaches the subconscious the new emotions that are safe, because all the old emotions, we think it's unsafe to have this. So we just practice feeling this to teach ourselves that we can be it. And so when we get it, when it arrives, it doesn't reject it and say, oh, this is not safe, you can't have it. So this is what our meditations do, under 20 minutes. So this is very good. Feel well-being, amazing, incredible, elating. Notice what you're doing in your end result. Thanks, Rosa. And next we have to release. We're going to do the process, but first we need to bring more into the active experience of what you believe. Why can't you have it? What beliefs do you have? I choose this end result in my desired reality, but I can't have it because. How do you judge this? How do you judge yourself? in relation to this end result. We ask these questions. Let's bring everything up to the active experience. We're going to do the process in a few minutes. Let's just type in everything that you think is in the way. What do you think is in the way? How do you judge yourself and others? How do you judge the world? You have anxiety. I can't have the life I love or want because I feel like a bad mother. I feel like my desires get met with self-sabotage. That's why we're here, aren't we? Yeah, and so you believe that. What is that sabotage? What? And we don't have to relive old experiences or traumas, but do you believe that there's old traumas that won't let you have it? Are you not deserving of it? Are you not worthy of it? Are you not perfect enough? Are you not good enough? That there's no space, but it's, yeah, you know, it's not true that there's no space. Who will be impacted if you just have it? Will you leave someone behind? Will you be rejected? Will you be abandoned? Who will be affected positively or negatively? Are you ready to just be this person now that has it all? What will you have to give up? What excuses? What stories? What do you stand to lose? You stand to lose everything you've ever known if you would just this. I can't just be happy if my family isn't happy, and I know they aren't. So I don't allow myself to have kind and joy. This is a life I love or love. And this is this is a perfect example of the belief that I won't belong or I'll be abandoned. Do you see that? Is it true? I want you to ask yourself. Is it true? Will you not belong to your family if you're happy? Or is it a subconscious belief? Others have to do for me. I'm not capable of doing it myself. I am overcoming and releasing old blocks, probably from past rape experience. And thank you for sharing that with the group, because we hold traumas in our bodies and we hold this shield of, needing to be protected. However, the past does not negate the future. So it is safe because to reconnect with your pure creative spirit, because remember, your focus creates reality. So if you just focus on a life you love, you vibrate on a higher plane and you will attract more of that. So who wants to do a demo? Who wants to experience this? We'll do a demo afterwards. If you want, we can have more. You can have a week in my group for free. And what I want to explain before we do, so your subconscious mind gets this. This is an important little part. Let me get my eraser. It's like a river of desire. Let me just stop share for 1 second. This is what we need. Now, the morphogenic field. Remember I said we have an energy field around us. This is me. This is you. I have a field of energy around me. You have a field of energy around me, around you. Your family, humanity. With your intention and permission, you give me an access. You say, I give Galit permission to access my superconscious. That's really all you have to do. You don't have to go in a trance. You just sit with your eyes closed for 20 minutes and you receive the information. That's all you do. That easy and that quick. I connect through this field of consciousness here. I use muscle testing and intuition and, to release whatever blocks. It could be in the form of events. It could be in a form of past lives. It could be in a form of your family's system and patterns. It could be in DNA, it could be in your stuck energy in your body, in your chakras, in your meridians. It could be cords that need severing. It could be your old beliefs and rules that aren't serving you. And whatever it is for the highest good. We just ask your higher self. Your higher self is doing this, your superconscious. And I talk to it like a person, an aspect of you. Yes, I will clear chakras today too. So I go in through this morphogenic field with your permission. We close our eyes. I give you permission, you give me permission, I give Galit permission to access your superconscious. And then to share my screen one more time of how this is. So it's like a river of desire. I want everyone to picture a number. This is where we are here in our journey. At the top of the river, at the bottom of our river, at the end here, is our end result, a life I love, my true nature and purpose, being the predominant creative force in my life, feeling that I want to just have, just because I deserve it. But I don't believe I deserve it. There are these boulders that have appeared that block me from just having it. The subconscious blocks. And so we just release these blocks ever so gently. Whatever's ready to be released today. Maybe all of them are ready to be released, or maybe some of them. Whatever your superconscious, your higher self says, hey, you're ready. And we have this resistance level of 0 to 10. And what I mean by that is, like you guys already are writing in numbers. From the river of desire, let's say, remember current reality, desired reality. Oh my God, my writing. Are you flowing? You are at 0 resistance. Are you at 10? You have the most resistance. Like, I can't even imagine this is possible to feel. So anything from 0 to 10, how do you feel? Like, feel in your body. How would it feel to just have it? Let's do the process. Type in your numbers. I appreciate it. It's your own measurement to understand where you are in the process, how you want to feel compared to where you are now. Now, I'd like you to, in your mind, in your heart, I give Galit permission to access my superconscious field. That's all you do. We just sit quietly and listen to me talk to your superconscious, which I address like a person. And whatever you feel, no right or wrong, you might feel energy, you might yawn, you might feel nothing, you might have memory. No right or wrong. Pretty painless. Sometimes we twitch. Sometimes we just breathe deeper. I have a whole jar for water today. So I see, I have permission. Let's close our eyes. Just be comfortable and receive the info. Choose to get the most out of this. That's all you do. Close your eyes and let's do it. Superconscious. See, I speak to your superconscious. Superconscious, is everyone here and in replay? Replay works. Everyone here and in replay? Connected and has given me permission. Superconscious are all aspects of us here for treatment, and understand treatment is for the highest good and the highest good of all, or even better. Great. So I want everyone to just imagine their end result and go there in feeling as much as you can. Superconscious, do you see and understand the end result, the true choice? Everyone's closing their eyes and just receiving the following information for 20 minutes or so. No right or wrong on what you feel. And I ask the superconscious field, your superconscious, to please create a perfect treatment plan in a perfect order and way, removing all resistances for the highest good from all timelines, realms, dimensions, and please do a massive change history and everything that's needed. Thank you. Good. You guys are doing great. I feel things starting to release and your boulders starting to get chiseled away and sink to the bottom of the river. None of those old identities and parts die. They just join the main personality to become whole again. And I ask superconscious, do you see all the beliefs and rules that are creating resistance from having life on our terms of how we would just love to have it? Can you treat about self, others, and the world and do a massive change history as needed? Thank you. Do you see all the part personalities and identities in resistance? Do you see the inner child and the protector controller, the inner critic, the self-doubter, even identities associated with ailments, the perfectionist, the wounded, the victim? Please treat all the part personalities, all aspects of us. We are all of these, and integrate them as needed. Do a massive change history. Thank you. Do you see the parts that are they are conflicting with one another? Can you integrate them as needed towards the end result? Do you see triggered aspects? Please treat them. Thank you. And superconscious, do you see that original event creating resistance? It's a different timeline for everyone here and in replay, but please find the original event for everyone and treat it in the perfect way. Thank you. Great. Superconscious, do you see all events from all timelines? Please create a treatment plan in the perfect way and order. Thank you. Please also include trauma events, fight, flight, freeze response, treating as needed. Thank you. Please treat the emotions as needed, past, present, future, all emotions from all timelines, and do a massive change history and everything that's needed. Thank you. Please treat the fears. Fear of success, fear of failure, fear of loss, fear of abandonment. Fear of re-traumatizing. Fear of your own power. Fear of your own greatness. I'd like to ask if there's any parts that have just awakened, if it's safe for them to join the treatment for the highest good, have them join in. And once they've joined, please repeat everything we've covered up until this point and do a massive change history and everything is needed and treat all parts again. Thank you. Please treat all the sabotaging emotions of I am not enough. I'm not good enough. I'm not loved enough. I'm not lovable enough. I'm not capable enough. I'm not significant enough. I don't belong enough. I'm not safe enough. Not perfect enough. Not worthy enough. Please do a massive change history and everything is needed and know that I am enough. Thank you. Please treat patterns and structures relating to money and the need to resolve oneself on all aspects. Do a massive change history. Thank you. You see the family history, family patterns, family structures, family constellations. Create a perfect treatment plan in the perfect order and way, please. Do a massive change history as needed for all family systems. Thank you. Including DNA, including family rules, family contracts, family entanglements, family alliances. Please treat emotions of grief. Please treat emotions of shame, guilt, forgiveness, and do a massive change history and everything that's needed. Thank you. Please treat resentment. Thank you. You guys are doing great. Please treat preconditions regarding this choice, definitions regarding this choice about self, others, and the world, definitions in general. Thank you. Treat the broken agreements. Treat the secondary intentions. You guys are doing great. Doing a massive change history and everything that's needed on all of that is causing the resistance and the priorities. Thank you. Treat the definitions. Thank you. Treat secondary intentions. Thank you. Good. Do you see the body systems? Do you see the chakras and sub-chakras? Create a perfect treatment plan for the chakras, clearing, balancing, restoring. Go to the sacral chakra and treat as needed. Solar plexus, treat as needed. Heart chakra, treat as needed. Thank you. Treat the throat chakra as needed. And ensure that all parts are connected and clear as needed. Thank you. Treat the meridian system, clear channels in a perfect order and way, along with their aligned body systems and organs. Do a massive change history and everything that's needed. Please treat those stuck emotions. Thank you. On a cellular level. Treat and release that broken heart, please. Thank you. Disconnect cords for the highest good. Thank you. Apply the element needed. I want everyone to we're not finished. We need to there's one more step in the process, but I want to check in with you in the chat box. Your original number and second number of how you feel right now compared to your end result. Please let me know. Thank you. First number, second number, you're 7 to 4. Okay. Any others? Let me know your first and second number, 5 to 3, also 9 to 5. Okay, let's keep going. I just want to check in with you, 8 to 2. That's wonderful. Sometimes when we are new to this work, it's just starting to get chiseled away. 7 to 3, all shifts are good. 8 to 6, 1 to 0. Let's keep going. If you have any more resistances, let's close our eyes. We still have to go around and finish. So super conscious, thanks for your little comments. Let's get back to it and finish up. Super conscious, do you see it? See the end result? Feel back into your end result. I choose this end result. Remember how it feels. Choose to feel it. And you see, super conscious, any more resistances to having it go to beliefs, rules, all the priorities. Create one last massive change history on any remaining resistances. Repeat the whole process and do massive change history. And then when done, continue to release, detoxify, and transform, forgive as needed, realign us with our divinity and our higher self, and remind us that we are the pure creative spirit in a human body. And ground everything we've touched on back into the matrix of the universe when done. Thank you. So when you're ready, you can type in your first, second, and third number. I feel you still processing a little bit. How are you guys doing? 1 to 0, 731, 742. You're still processing too. I still feel that some of it is still continuing to go down. And so notice how it feels when you go to your desired reality, to your end result of how you went and felt, how accessible it is now. It is much more accessible. So what happens, 865, great, and we're going down. We're going in the right direction, everyone, aren't we? We're going in the right direction. So could you imagine constantly releasing, showing up, having access to recodes, as many as you want? Shift happens. Your triggers, your mood, everything, it's subtle at first, but it's like you take an Advil for pain and then you go about your business and then you forgot that your pain was there, like you didn't even notice when the pain left. And Jessie says, I can feel my body processing peaceful and light. Yeah, yes, much more possible to shift, right? Doing amazing, wonderful. I love your comments. And so if you could have this on a regular basis, how many years did you have in this conditioning? You can't just snap your fingers and say, okay, from now on, I'm this new way, because it doesn't, your body needs to catch up. Your anxiety levels have gone down. Yes, that's good to hear. I mean, I remember I used to be in anxiety all the time. And we start learning how to really be without all the heaviness. And so last step, transformation. Yeah, Sean says 58 years I've had this old conditioning, right? So the path to transformation is basically, again, I'm not selling you anything, but I'm willing to have you experience my group for a week. If you're not a CEC client and you'd like to get in my group for free, I'll show it to you. You can and I work with animals too. This is for humans. This is my super conscious transformational program. How'd you like my face here? But there's so many things in this group that I would love to share with you. It's really a 12-month program, but hey, you can start releasing. As you can see, you release today. You just show up for the week to as many lessons as you want. All the replays work. I do 2 live recodes a week. The most important thing to understand is that they work in replay. So there's no such thing as time, right? It's made up. It's a concept for us human in this energy field. Rosa says, I'm in. Love it. So the time can be bet. It's just about you setting your intention to receive the information. Yes, Rebecca has been in my program for a little while. She says it works. And I know because I'm like you. This is a system. It's like an accountability journaling system that gets you to your goals in a much faster way. We can recode all we want and we release it all we want, but it's also, we have goals and we have blocks to those goals. So this is a great way when you do this program. And Heather is interested. Love it. So it's a 12-month program. You release, you do meditations under 20 minutes. There's lessons, endless lessons for you. There's replays. It's nonstop. And the deep release takes about 3 months on a weekly basis. You just keep showing up. Don't stop showing up, especially in your first week. Just show up, you show up, you show up, and you reinforce that you're a creator within. And if you want to quit and not even show up in your free week, then you know what? Notice, is that your old identity? Your subconscious just wants to stay the same. It doesn't want change. It doesn't feel it's safe. And that's what that is. So, 3 months, you get really deep release. And then, I teach you how to choose. Remember, we said there's a wrong way to choose and a right way to choose. And I love to check in with you and see how you're doing. You can get a 20-minute free call with me to just check in on what your choices are. Make sure you're in true choice. And how this works is, think about where you would be if you didn't have those subconscious blocks anymore. What about, after a week, what would you be able to do more of? What about if you kept going? What about a year from now? 3 years from now? What about 5 years? You could stay the same in the same trajectory, or what about releasing what's been in your way all your life? Here are more results of just people in the process, people doing this work. So I want to show you how to use the program a little bit. Let me share my screen real quick and let me find it. Sorry. And then I'll give you a special link of, here's what I'm going to do. Let me just share this. What do you guys see? Can you guys see this? All right. So basically, here's the link to get the lives. You don't have to participate live, but you could just join the Zoom right here. You can access the videos and replays. There's a VIP Facebook group that you can join. And these are all the lessons right here. There are endless lessons, endless. And I can't even begin to tell you how much there is. And all the replays are fear of success, fear of failure, self-trust, getting rid of your ego, dealing with your inner child. I appreciate your time. So I'm going to stop and I'm going to share the link with you because I know your time is valuable, and I just want to make sure to give you the link of joining, and then you can grab it. Here it is. Now, this is, I don't know if you can get it right off the screen, but I'm going to copy it. And I'm going to share it in the chat box for you. Can everyone see this in the chat box? Thank you, Sean. Thank you, Nayeli. I appreciate it. Thank you, Heather. Yeah. Okay, you guys can grab it. So what you'll do, this is basically what you're grabbing. So I'm going to share this form. What you just grabbed looks like this. Yeah, it looks like this. And you're just going to put in your first name, your last name, your email, you know, just some information, basic information. You have a chance to upgrade to a one-on-one session with me for $99. That is my intro rate. If you want to go a deep clearing, it's an option. You still get a free week. Like I said, I'm not selling anything unless you want to experience a one-on-one. You could just put no, thank you. You get the free group. Okay, that's all. It's very simple. Then I'll send you an email and you'll be able to get into the group. Okay, any questions? I see everybody's got it. Does anyone need any help? I would love for you to get in there and start doing the lessons, getting a login, doing the lessons for yourselves, and you can show up learning how to choose, learning everything, and you'll be able to start releasing more, start creating a life on your terms, start reconnecting with your higher self. How's that? Thank you very much for everyone that was here today. Thank you for your time. I love doing this, and I really appreciate you. So reach out to me if you have any more questions, and I appreciate you. Happy transformation. I'll see you in the group. Bye.